So this is the last big writing assignment. As you know, you have a few other assignments, smaller ones, but this is the last big writing assignment. So let's go over, I don't actually have to spend too long in this video because it's just now the stories that you've done before, 2.0 kind of a version of it. So first things first, do June 30th, 11:59 p.m., so right before July, like we talked about with the adjustment, worth 200 points. All right, you're going to do either a hard news story or a profile story. So you are choosing one. You've done both of these already. Now you're choosing one to kind of like redo. Not the same subject, but you're going to take another stab at it with the feedback. And I've written a few now. This one's going to be a lot more polished. So you're choosing one or the other. If you choose a hard news story, very similar to the last hard news story, has to be a live event that you attend in person. So you guys all have an idea now what that means. Again, if you're not sure, it's better to message me early. So message me, just ask me what I'm thinking. Do you think that works? Maybe give you some advice. But yeah, you can choose your hard news story. Very similar to before, just a couple small little changes, so I'll go over those. But do not use any reporting from other stories or direct language from other stories. Just like your last one, you have to have, this is a change here from before. You have to have at least 2 human sources and 4 direct quotes that you obtain. Quotes must be reported by you and original to your reporting. So in the last hard news story, you only had to get 1 human source and I think 2 quotes. This one has to be at least 2 human sources, so 2 different people. You gotta be talking to 2 different people and have at least 4 direct quotes total. I mean, usually it'll be 2 and 2, so 2 from one, 2 from the other. But if you have 3 from one and 1 from the other, that's fine. I didn't specify. But you do have to have at least 2 different people in that story for direct quotes. A little longer than the last one. This one's between 650 and 750 words, so a little bit longer. And interviewing a second person will help you out with that. Just like before, short paragraphs, 1 to 3 sentences, 5 at the most, must be written in third person. And I'm grading everything that I did on the last one. So I've already gone over that. I don't think I have to go over it again, but that's what I'm grading your hard news story on. If you choose to do a profile story, same as before, write about an interesting person. It cannot be a family member or a friend. Don't always have a way of verifying, but I'm going off the honor system here. Should be someone you don't really know at all or is an acquaintance. So you're not using direct language from direct words or reporting from other stories. Again, difference from before, you have to have at least 2 human sources and 4 direct quotes. So for your profile story, you just did 1. You're probably interviewing that person. Now you got to get 2. All right, here's my example. You interview someone, I'm trying to think of someone right now. You interview a coach or a coach that you had or a pastor or, I don't know, your mom's friend. Without interviewing your mom as the second person. So maybe you interview your mom's friend because they're really interested in do whatever X, Y, and Z. And maybe you interview their child too about that person. Or your pastor, maybe you interview the pastor and somebody else that attends the church, right? So I'm trying to give you an idea here. But you're interviewing 2 separate people. So it's somebody that probably knows that person that, again, is not too close to you. That's what you're looking for when you do this. Okay, just a little longer, just like the hard news story. It's 650 and 750 words, so it's a little longer than your last profile story. Short paragraphs, 1 to 3 sentences, be written in the third person. Everything else here, just like before for your profile story. So this is what I'm grading on. All right, notice what I put here. The assignments will be graded. Note that, I'm sorry, man, I'll change this before you guys see it. Note that this assignment will be graded a little stricter than before. I'm looking to see that you apply the feedback from the previous stories. So here's what I mean by that. I don't want you to panic with that. But I am looking that you are applying what I've said on the first one. So if I said, hey, watch your EP style, if I said, if I said something like, oh, your lead has 3 sentences on one of your past stories. Your lead is 3 sentences. You really got to make it 1. I give you that kind of feedback, and I see those same errors here. Then if you got a B before, it's probably not going to be a B. It's going to be a C, right? Because you didn't apply any of the feedback that I've been giving you, and you haven't been growing. So what I really mean by this is I just got to see that you grow. I'm not saying that you can't make mistakes. You probably still make mistakes in these, and that's fine. You're all learning this. So I'm not saying don't make mistakes, but I am saying you shouldn't be making the same mistakes now on your 3rd time at this, right? You've written 2 other stories. You have done a bunch of exercises, so you shouldn't be making the mistakes you were making the first day of class. I'm looking to see that there is an effort and that you have been applying the feedback that I gave you. That's what I mean by that. All right, so that's what your final story is. At any time, please message me. We can talk about this. You got 2 weeks to do this. You really got to get on it now. Meaning, this week, do your interview, find your person, go to the event. Start doing your reporting now so next week you can dedicate a lot of time to this. The other thing is I didn't mention this in the last video, so I had transferred over here now. So one of the best pieces of advice I ever got for editing, and that's what a lot of this is editing, is something called editing in layers. And so what I mean by that is most of us, and how I used to do it too, is when you edit, you just go through and you just read the whole thing. Maybe you read it out loud, which is a good practice, but you read it out loud and you just keep reading through to see if you make mistakes. Maybe you only read it once or twice through just for mistakes. And then I had an editor teach me this, goes edit in layers. What he meant by that was each time you read through your story, you're just looking for one specific type of mistake. So for example, I'm going to read through and I'm only going to be looking for a paragraph length. Each paragraph I'm looking, can I break this paragraph up? Is it too long? Is it just around right? I'm not care about spelling. I don't care about AP mistakes. I don't care about anything else. I'm just looking at paragraph length. Then maybe I'm reading through and I'm going to read through just to make sure that all these things are good. So do I have 2 human sources? Do I have 4 quotes? Is this between 650 words? Are the paragraphs short? Which was actually the other layer, right? So maybe I'm kind of going through and I'm just looking to see, can I check all these, right? Then maybe I read through and I just edit for AP mistakes. So I don't care about anything else. Story structure, just looking for AP mistakes. Then I read through and I'm looking for story structure. Do I have everything in the right place? So you might be sitting there going, man, this sounds like a lot of work, but it's not really because you're just looking for one type of thing. So you're able to read through really quickly because you're just looking for one kind of mistake. You're kind of tuning out everything else. So you might end up reading your story 10 times, but each time you're being way more efficient and you're just looking for certain kind of mistakes. And because you're able to then hyper-focus on one kind of thing, you're able to pick up on errors. You're able to pick up on mistakes because there's a lot of balls in the air otherwise, right? So if I just said go and make sure you have all this in your story, you're juggling like 20 balls and you're going to lose track of some. But if I'm telling you just to juggle 1 ball at a time in the air, you're able to focus. So that's what we mean by editing layers. Go read through it. It's going to take you some time. You're going to have to keep reading through it, but you're only looking for one type of mistake. And then you're more likely to catch that mistake if that's all you're looking for. Great piece of advice. Practice it, and you're going to see such a difference when it comes to your editing. All right, that is your final assignment. Questions, please send them my way. But this is now you guys have built. You built your skills. You're still learning. I understand that, and I'm expecting mistakes. But I'm expecting you not to make the same types of mistakes that you have from the beginning. I want to see growth because that's really what this class is about. Making sure you grow. And you become a better writer by the end of this.